so we're having door troubles. The electric roller shutter door in the garage is failing. On the way down it's getting really noisy. And also occasionally when it goes up, it's so when I'm pressing this button on the upward stroke, it's going. You can hear the motor groaning, but the door isn't moving. I'm going to remove the cover, take the casing off, get inside it, find out what's going on, maybe replace the motor or repair it and put it all back together again. So stick with me on this one, it's going to be interesting.
This door's about 10 years old. It's slowly been getting worse. This noise has been getting slightly louder over time, so it's definitely time to get it stripped down.
Brilliant. So I've got trellis table set up now, and I've got the step ladders. I've got enough access now to get up there.
Don't fall off
Too high there.
before you started.
Oh no, it's perfect. Perfect.
Surprised how much junk you accumulate, especially in my garage. I've got loads of stuff all hanging off the top there. So we'll clear all that out of the way, and then we're going to remove, this is the emergency winder. 2 screws, just whiz those out, and that winder handle just pulls straight out. Big screws though, they go right through 2 layers of metal. Pull, go on. Okay, there you go.
So this cover is held on either side with, you've got a rivet there and a rivet on the other side. So we're going to drill those rivets out. There's a rivet just under there.
Obviously, I just put a pair of specs on because I don't want to get all the bits of metal in my eyes.
Just take the head off it, and then do the same the other side.
Don't fall off the ladders. Just pop it down, beautiful. Now that'll swing round. The technique on this is you have to swing it up and then pull it away. It's got like a almost like a U-shaped lip on the top of that. So just pull it and bang, off she comes. It's not very heavy, that, it's just a plastic, well not, it's metal, it's a metal cover, plastic, what am I on about?
Which now reveals the gubbins. So what have we got in here then? Let's have a look. So what we've got is, in this side, we've got the wire coming in, the control wire comes into this, and the motor is here, sitting inside this tube to about there. So that's where the motor is, inside here. So we could get at it. We're going to remove these 4 10mm bolts, which is going to release that side there, and then on the other side we've got here is a grub screw just here. So if I undo that grub screw, this centre pin will slide into the channel inside the roller, which will get it out of the bearing, which will allow this side to come free. So once we've got these claws off, 3 claws, we can then just undo the 4 10mm bolts on this side, which will then allow the motor and everything to come out. That whole roll will just come away from the door then. So these claws that hold on to the top of the garage door that lift it, these are affixed to this adapter here with a pin that goes through. We've got a screw in the side, so if we undo the screw that screws it to the centre beam, we can push them apart to get this plastic claw out which swings over and fastens to the top of the door there, which is nice. So this will be left here, sat on top of the door. We'll be separated that, then we can get this motor mechanism out. 3 of them. Doesn't look too painful, does it? Doesn't look too painful at all. But what we've got to do, I think, first of all, is see about releasing the wiring, which is coming down into this channel here and then into the control unit. So let's take the covers off the control unit so we can see what's going on, and take this plastic cover off there. Right, so this control unit here is, pull the panel out the bottom, just pushes in, and draw that out. 2 screws to get this bottom one off. Like that. And we can now see where the wires come in here and into all this control panel. So we need to get this plastic cover off here, which again just pulls away. I get a little screwdriver in there, and we're literally just going to pull this plastic casing away like that. Just unfeed it all the way along. And that's that out of the way. And now you can see the wiring is coming. I've got one from the mains and the one that goes to the motor. So the one that goes to the motor is this one here, which is the one on the right there, which has got a whole bunch of wires in it. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's got 4. We've got 4 wires going in there. And the best we can do is take a photo of this control panel so we know exactly where they're going to, which obviously I've got here because I've got the camera. So let's bring you in really close, and you can see everything there now. Look, so this main, the 4 here, so it basically goes, this end one, it goes blue, black, brown, earth, green, brown, and neutral. So you've got basically these 2 are from the mains plug. So you've got neutral and live and earth, and then we've got the 4 for the motor control there. This is the answer box, ANSA door services. Oh no, answer door systems. Get it right.
Before I take it to, or take the power off it, let's just run this so you can actually see what happens as it goes up with the cover off. You can see it just building up on the reel there. But this, you get an idea of the noise when it's coming down. It's really noisy. There must be an issue with the gearbox within that motor. And that's really noisy there. So you watch the claws, the final claws, when they come down now, they lock all the way across. There's a bit of play there.
So over on this side here, we've got this bearing within the door there, and we can check that. So now we're at that point there, we can actually switch the power off to this, because I'm not going to be... Okay, so here we go, these 4 then, let's whip them out. So, that one. That one. That one. And that one. I'll just tip them out, have them all out the way. Right, so that's the wires out for the motor now, and we'll pull them out through the bottom. Like that. There it is. That's that away. Super. So I'll just leave the bottom one in for now, and I'll just whip the other 3 out. There's one. I want to lose the bolts if possible. One at the back. we're just left with the one pegging it in there, which we'll come back to in a minute. Right, let's release these screws now. So just whiz those little screws out of there. And now these are separate, so I'll get the sharper and then we'll know exactly where that's got to go back to. So that bit there is on that flat there, and that one there is on that flat there. Perfect. Do that on all of them. That's all them out there, so we can slide those across, which will release the claw there. We'll do that on all of them.
I mark the with the Sharpie. I mark those positions on those little plastic roller mountings, but it doesn't really matter as long as you've got them equally spaced out. It's not a problem.
That's all of them out of the way. Just crack that off. So just release that screw bit like that. Now that should push in with a bit of luck. Right. So if this all comes crashing down on my head, don't laugh. Well, you can do. I don't mind. Let's take that last screw out of there. Oops, I'm chucking it on the floor again. That's the last screw out of there. Push the bolt through. So now we are hanging by a thread. Let's feed that wire up into there. Where we need it to be.
I think you should have done that before you undone the bolts, really, but oh dear. Don't come down on my head. Well, I'm messing about with it. Oh, saved by the bell.
So I'm thinking it's going to slide that way, it's going to come out. That's the theory of it. Let's see what happens. Oh my word, look at that. That was a good call, wasn't it? That was a good shout. So now I can pull it, get it out of the bearing somehow. Stuck in that bearing. Stuck in that bearing, that end. Right. We've got to pop that. We've got to pop this circlip off the bar to allow it to go through to get it out this bearing. At the end of the bolt, let's crack on, get it out. There we go. Oh, shucks. Oh, got it. Yes! And that's not too heavy, it's quite light. Let's get this over to the table. Right, and here we are. This is the dastardly thing. Let's have a look at it, see what we've got. Right, so now we're looking at this motor. It sits inside the tube. There doesn't appear to be anything holding it in there other than it's just a tight fit. So I'm going to attempt to tap it out. So let's see if we can't get it out from inside the tube. So there's what looks like a tab here. That's the only one that might be holding it. Oh, it doesn't appear to be. Oh no, that's correct.
Just get the big hammer on it, give it a smack. Faffing about with these little screwdrivers. It is just a tight fit. It's just tight, and I'm going to keep getting a bigger screwdriver till it comes out. Look. Get a bigger one, bigger and a bigger hammer.
It's not giving up too easy.
Get the hammer on it. Yeah, that's the one. Hit it then, flipping it. What are you doing? Like an old woman. Go on, give it some. Tell you what, why don't you hit the screwdriver? Go on. Come on, it's going. It's just really tightly pressed in. That's the problem. And it takes a bit of shifting. It will do. Give it a whack. Yeah.
I can't see any screws.
No, get the big hammer on it. Come on.
Definitely no screws down there. No screws.
Hit it.
Yeah.
This is where I look a bit puzzled. I'm looking at it thinking, what am I missing? I'm missing something. But it ain't. It's just tight.
Here it comes.
Yeah, here it comes.
Just needed a bit of persuasion. Just needed a good whack.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Ooh. Ah, hang on a minute. Oh, it's got like a collar. Ah, right, okay. Okay, that's interesting. So the motor itself just slips out from... What was holding that in then? Nothing. Oh, well, I was whacking it. Why was it not coming out? Okay, that's interesting. But it has got the collar on it as well that comes out. So, here it comes. Aha. Right. So the interesting thing with this is, what I thought was a really substantial motor when I bought it, actually turns out it's only a 55 Newton meter one. It's quite a small one. And the guy told me this was a monster. So that's quite interesting. But anyway, it's a Somfy, 17 RPM, blah de blah de blah. Happy days. Oh, that was just on a bearing. So the drive all comes from the back. Oh, that's again another interesting one. So that's just spinning on a bearing. Oh, that feels like that's the switch. That's the switch that side. Oh, so here we go. We've got the new motor. Gone for this Allard motor. Now this one is supposedly a bit more beefy than the one we've taken off. This is 100 Newton meters, whereas the old one, the Somfy one, was 55 Newton meters. So let's have a look, see what we got for his money. We've got a couple of adapters, a rotary tool, we've got a mounting, some clips and a couple of brackets. So let's see what happens. So straight away, the first thing we'd notice is these are different because we don't want the we've not got the round base on it. We've got the round adapters. We've got these ones, so we've got those with it. So let's whiz them ones off of there and slide on the ones that we need, which are these collars here. So we'll get that on in the right place, like that. And then this one here sits in the end there. It's got a keyway actually there that we need to fit, looking at that, so that it locks in place. So let's see if we can find the keyway. Yeah, there it is. So in there we've got a circlip and a keyway. That's going to sit inside that channel there, and then that's going to slide. That's got a slightly tapered edge on it which needs to point outwards, so that's then going to slide over that like that, and then we've got the circlip that's going to go on the end there. So we can get some circlip pliers and we can get that on as well. These suckers are massive, look at them. Oh, if this don't work, I don't know what will. Oh, straight on, straight on. Okay, beautiful, so that's all locked into place. Right, let's try it for size, see if it's going to go in the hole.
The tube on this one is a 70mm hexagonal size. There's quite a few different types, but
oh yes,
that's what this one is.
Oh, and she slips. That's just beautiful. And there's this little
recess there that's got to sit inside the little groove on these two plastic adapters. And then push that all the way in. There it is. It's in. Okay, now I've just got to get the plate on the end of it. So, what have we got? And that is going to sit inside the end of that there to support it. It's all a bit different, this one. So the thickness is different. I've decided I'm going to use the original plate and transfer it. Right, let's whip this plate off the old one. So we've got it going in. That is the important part there, which is the screw adjuster, which on this one is there as well. So now if we get that pointing in the right direction, so forward on that, and that's going to be just there like that. So they're the same now. I know that's pointing down. Won't affect us though, because we couldn't put that inside the unit. Okay, let's connect it up at that. So forward, forward, forward. Let's undo this one. So like I've just said there, the wire is pointing in a different direction out of the motor, but we can accommodate that in the casing. What we can't change is where the emergency winder handle is, because that's got to be pointing exactly where the hole in the existing box section is. So we've got to plan everything around that.
They're not quite as long as the new ones, so let's get some new ones in there. So the problem we've got then is that these ones are too short and the other ones are too long, and these are just falling through. So we're going to have to come up with something different. So I'm going to try to use the new screws with a washer. So what I've got is these really thin washers, they're tiny, they're quite soft, so I'm hoping they're going to, when I put them through, they're just going to give us that little bit extra.
So the new bolts, which are longer, have got smaller heads on them. So I'm going to put these very fine washers on, which are going to increase the size of the heads.
Oh, that's super. That's perfect. Look at that. Let's pull that up really nicely into that, and it's still pretty flush. That's the way to go. Well, that's overcome that problem, isn't it? Oh, that's beautiful. Really pleased with that.
The beauty of this old plate is it's got all those adjusters on it. I mean, that can go on a multitude of directions, accommodating most motors.
And the last one. And when you think the old one only had 2 of these holding it on, this new one's now got 4. So we're not really compromising on strength. You always come across problems like this when you're changing over from different manufacturers. You're just always going to hit slight fitment problems. That's as solid as a rock. Beautiful that is.
And you can see that they're still nice and flush, and you can just catch the outside of those washers there. Look, it's gone in really well.
I'm really pleased with that. So now we're not going to need these 2 plates, because these are just not going to fit onto the end plate of the door. I'll show you what I mean. This new end plate here, the original one bolted into these 4 bolts here, recessed onto this aluminium, or this forged end. This one here, it's got to sit in the middle. It would mean drilling new holes into this, but also this back plate, it's not got the reinforced strengthened bit on it. It might well hold it, but it's definitely not going to be as good as what the existing plate was. And it's also bringing the whole unit out, because it's got that one there and it's got the extra plate, so the whole new motor system's not going to start for at least another 10mm to where it was originally. And I can see that giving us problems on the other side. So let's try this and see if it works.
So what I'm going to do is just pop the bearing out the opposite side, I'm going to re-grease it, pack it all up with grease, and then pop it back in again. It's got these little tabs that are just bent over which hold the bearing in. It's a bit crude and ugly, but it saves me undoing the actual bracket. On this side I can't get at the bolts because the wall's in the way. Give it a bash, you can fix it. Just pop that bearing out, and then we can get some grease in there because it is very dry. It's not been maintained for say 10 years or so.
Oh, that's a bit ropey. It's a bit ropey. Oh dear. Let's have a look at that, put some grease in it.
Just work that grease in. Oh, I'll go a bit quick on this one, it's a bit boring, but just keep slipping the grease in, packing it in, smoothing it in. Wow, that sounds a lot better. Much better.
So just keep working that grease in, pushing it into the bearing until we're happy that it's nicely covered. And we can rub off all the excess off the outside. Much nicer.
I'll just drop that back in again, push it down, give it a little tap, and then bend the tabs back over, squeeze them in.
Right, let's get this one back in the hole.
The reason I went for the Allard motor, the Somfy one for a replacement, was twice as expensive. It turns out they're quite a good make, good reputation, but they are expensive. This Allard one, it's got a good reputation, but it's a cheaper brand. But I've gone for the more torque. I've gone for the 100 Newton meters rather than the 55. So I'm hoping it's all going to balance out. Yeah, and be reliable, because that's what it needs. This gets a lot of use, this door. It's up and down an awful lot. So I've got that in place. I'm just going to slip in that little pin into the bearing first.
Right then, let's try and get this sorted out then. See if I can get some screws in it.
So just lift that into place and pop them through. The other side is just literally poking on that little spigot into the bearing, and we can pop a few of these on. Just get it tacked in if you like. It ain't going anywhere now, this end. We'll taz them up. Get them up nice and tight.
So they're all up nice and tight. The motor's in there proud now, sitting happy as Larry. Let's come over to the other side and have a look at this grub screw. Grub screw in there. Let's make sure this is in where it needs to be. Into there. And then we can do that up with the Allen key. Let's try and get it as level as we can. Like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Got the circlet. We'll slip that over that. There. Bingo. That's it. Right then, let's connect the wiring up. Right, let's have a look then. The wires, let's get them fed through, back where they came from. Loads of wire. So this is going to come back down around and through that little gap there. Okay, there we go. And it comes.
Got enough wire here to hang myself. There's loads, look.
Ow. Hello. Right, and what we need to do is make sure that that is tied back into them where we cut the cable tie. So we've got to get that round there, and then peg that in there to that, so that doesn't get caught on anything. That wire's all tucked in out of the way. It's not going to get caught on the mechanism. Nice and tidy. Right, now I can feed this wire down into the channel where the old one was. Put the plastic wire cover back over this conduit. Push it back on again. Okay, that's that there. And then this is going back inside, up through that. I can cut this straight off because the wires are too long, so I just chop it somewhere near enough, about there.
Check twice, cut once.
And I'll feed that up inside. Like that. I'll get all them out of the way a minute. Okay. So now here we go. We're going to wire this back in, and they were all about there. So if I chop that off to there, that's going to give me plenty to work with. And then trim this back. Just need to nick through the sheath of it so I can get hold of a wire. There we go, look, that's better. That's better, we've got plenty there now to... I've got just a bit more. I don't want to struggle, do I? Let's have plenty to go at. Make sure all the wires are out this black. Yeah, we'll chop through that. Get rid of that. Right, and now we can go about wiring these up. Can you remember what order they were in? Oh dear. Right then. And then
We'll just peel them all back there, just get rid of that bit of plastic off the end of them wires. Give us plenty to work with. We can fold them double and twist them up nicely.
we'll just twist them up and just double them up on each one. Bend it in the middle and just double it out like nice. And do the next one. Twist it, double it. Twist it and double it. Okay. Right, and where's my screwdriver gone? Okay, so here we go. So the first one we've got the earth. So let's drop that one in. And do it up. Next one, brown. Oh, that one goes. Then it with the black. And then it with a blue. And the last one playing hard to get. Get in there. Oh, I'll do that one a bit more. There we go. Bingo. So that's all the wires in. Just tuck them under there nicely. Get them all. I'll probably just push that back a little bit. Right, we'll leave it like that for now. Let's flick this power back on. Okay, power's on. Right then, what we've got to do now is press the down button. We need to get the motor to wind all the way down and then wait for it to stop. We've got to do the adjustments on this motor to get the full up and down where it needs to be. Right, let's crack on and see how we get on with this. Okay, let's give it a poke and see what happens. So we don't know if it's up or down, the actual motor at the minute, so we'll give it a press. That's winding up. Okay, now we need to go all the way down. Right, that's all the way down. Okay, which is great. That's really good. Now we can set these up now. So we can now pull these springy dingy dung dungs up here. What we're going to do, we know that this is all the way down at the minute, so we need to just get that to that point there. So that's the fully down. We can now slide these in and find out which is the one that's going to knock it into locking position, which is right there. That's the full lock just there, so I can put that into them back holes again. This is exactly the same spot as it was before, which is really good. Yeah, quite pleased about. So it's on that last, it's right there, right locked back in where it was before. So let's go with that. I quite like the look of that. So now that's there, we can put the 2 screws back in here.
We just wind those screws through, and there's loads of tiny little holes all the way along that beam, and you just make sure that you get one of those, the tip of that screw, to locate into that beam. It's the shape of the plastic that actually locks it all in, so it's not going to spin.
Right, locked in.
Same again then, onto the middle one. We just bring that in, squeeze them together, bang the screws in. And again with the M1, if you look at the beam, you can actually see the tiny little holes running along it. That's the same both sides.
So now we can check the lower limit of the door. As we've strapped it up, the motor went off, so it should be right now. It should be right. So let's just see what happens. Let's just fire it up. Okay, right, that's good, because we can set the upper limit, which is great. So let's just make sure the down is good. Oh, it's lovely and quiet. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So all we got to do, now is set the upper limit. So on these controllers, we've got upper and lower. Which way round they are, heavenly knows. We really don't know, but it's going to be trial and error. We'll have to see. Right. Well, common sense would say the top one is going to be the top. But we've got an arrow. So that's saying up. So I'm kind of thinking that's the top limit. Right, okay, so let's go with this. So let's see what happens. Let's mark it first to see where it comes to.
The difference is which side your motor's fitted, left or right.
Okay, so the door at the minute is to there. So let's just put a little mark just there so we know exactly where we are. So what we can do is just drop it a little bit. And I'm going to adjust half a turn. Yes, there we go, difference. Half a turn, so I've got to turn this anti-clockwise. 1, 2, 3, let's see what happens now. Yeah, here we go. Turn it a bit more. we're getting there. How are we getting there? Come round here, I'll show you what we're up to. So we've got this little adjuster here, and we stick that into the red one on the top, and we're going to turn it anti-clockwise, 1 full turn, and then press the button, press it again to go up, and we're getting there. Let's go another 1 full turn, and go again, down a little bit, and then back up, and let's go another full turn, off, 1.
I'm going a little bit at a time because obviously I'm not an expert at this, but I thought small and often, and eventually we get there.
That'll do for me. That'll do for me. Right, outline. Let's just make sure the down is okay still. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's locked in solid. Oh, that's absolutely stunning. What a great fix that is. Really pleased with that. That saved me an absolute fortune. An absolute fortune. Oh, it's so quiet. It's so quiet. It's lovely.
And here it goes in all its glory, look. Warp speed. Beautiful.
Brilliant. Let's get the covers back on and get it all finished off.
So we just pop that grey cover back on, 2 little screws in the bottom. We'll whiz them up. And then we can put the little cover on the bottom, the little cap.
Weird little fitting. So it's the in like that. Show it locating and then bring it round. So we've got 1 rivet gun, 2 little rivets, and they're going back in the original holes that we had. And then like that, and then rivet up. Bang, that's that one done. Bang, that's that one done. Insert that up and through the hole. Oh, that's 1. 2. Well, hope you enjoyed that one. Fixing up the roller door shutter. New motor in there. It's as good as gold. Silent. Absolutely beautiful. Working really well. So drop me a thumbs up. Subscribe. Thanks for watching.